Hi everybody, this is DearMamaSal, and the word of today is relationship. Hi everybody, this is DearMamaSal, and a couple of viewers, funny enough, have written to me recently and asked me if I can do some vlogs about relationships. That should be good. The reason that I chuckled was because, if ever there was a huge subject that could take me the rest of my life, it would be the subject of relationships. There's no doubt about it in my mind. And I want to make sure that you all know I can talk a great deal about what I did wrong in relationships, and not nearly as long in what I did right. And so I'm going to do it from that angle. In the hope that some of you will learn something from it, and also from the point of view that don't do what I did. It's not going to make you happy. All right, so first of all, the lesson that I learned the hard way is there's a huge difference between a relationship and a crush. Now, let me try and explain that. A crush is where you fantasize about being in a relationship. Okay? You're not in one, but the guy or the girl smiled at you and they're, that's amazing, all right, or they spoke to you and you think you're in a relationship. No, that's not a relationship. That is, let's keep it to the facts. They smiled at you or they said hello. Doesn't mean anything more than that. Maybe you smiled at them and they were being polite. It doesn't mean you're in a relationship. Doesn't mean they owe you anything. Doesn't mean anything more than the facts. They smiled at you. Now, if you have been out on one date, and I'm talking just the two of you out on a date together, you are not in a relationship. The fact is, you've been on one date. That's not a relationship. And so, what I want to make sure that you all understand is get out of Disneyland, as I call it. I used to be in Disneyland all the time. Some guy would actually smile at me or phone me once and ask me out for coffee, and really I was practicing the signature because I was convinced that I was about to get married. I mean, I hate to admit the truth of that, but it is true of me. Boy, I wish I'd known what I know now. I could have saved myself so much heartache. And so what I beg you to do is, if you think you're in a relationship, if I took you into a court of law, would there be enough evidence to convict you? If a judge sat in front of you and said, okay, explain to me why you think you're in a relationship, what would you say? Well, we've been out on 64 dates. He's bought me all these presents over the months, and he's done this, that, and the other. We go out walking together on the beach every Friday night. That would be pretty good evidence that you're in some sort of relationship. But I'm really sorry to tell you that he smiled at me, or we talk. We might talk at church, for example. Doesn't mean you're in a relationship. I would ask, how many times has this person phoned you? Or, right? Or texted you. And I don't mean as a friend. It's a really important thing that you get the difference here. And so, a crush is where it's in your imagination. Now, one of the things that I learned the hard way, and I've got to tell you this, is that if you are doing more than 50% of the work to keep a relationship alive. Let's say you think you are in a relationship or you've had one with somebody. If you are constantly phoning or texting or doing whatever to try and keep the relationship alive, if you are scared that you are going to lose the relationship unless you continue to do that, then what you have is something that is not very real either. Because what you're doing, and it's a technical term, but you're being codependent, which means you are doing more than your fair share to keep that relationship going. Got it? Okay, so that's my first clue. Be very aware, are you in a relationship or are you in a crush? Now, one of my viewers wrote to me and said, can I give them clues on what to look for? And I'll be thinking about that. From my negative experience, what not to look for. How many of you are going? That should be interesting. All right, everybody, this is DearMamaSal saying, being in relationships is a very painful thing for a lot of people. And the reason is because they actually are not true relationships. What they are is a roller coaster of emotions that are breaking your heart. And I really want to encourage you to learn a lot more emotional intelligence around relationships. And that's what I'm going to be trying to help you with. This is DearMamaSal reminding you, feel free to look after other people. It's a wonderful gift to have. But please remember to look after yourself. Bye-bye for now.